I've always been close with my brother Tom. We share a bond that goes beyond the typical sibling relationship. Growing up, we experienced life's ups and downs together, always having each other's backs. We've shared laughs, comforted each other in times of sorrow, and celebrated countless victories. When Tom got engaged to his fiancée, Sarah, I couldn't have been happier for him. She seemed like a fantastic match for him, and their excitement was infectious. When they approached me to be a part of their big day as a bridesmaid, I was both thrilled and honored. It felt like a natural continuation of our close-knit relationship, and I was eager to support them. The wedding had been a major event on the calendar, planned meticulously over a year. It was set to be a grand affair, with Tom and Sarah pouring their hearts into every detail, from the flowers to the seating arrangement. Amidst all the excitement, I found myself deeply involved, offering a helping hand wherever possible, whether it was deciding on color schemes or finalizing the playlist. My role grew from just a bridesmaid to an essential part of the planning team. My strong bond with my brother meant I was more than willing to step up and ensure everything went as smoothly as possible for them. Recognizing the financial constraints they faced, I even volunteered to cover some of the wedding expenses. My ability to contribute financially felt like a way to give back to my brother and his fiancée for including me in such a significant part of their lives. It's not every day one gets to partake in making a wedding dream come to life, especially for someone you cherish so deeply. Little did I know, the path ahead would become unexpectedly complicated. Things began to shift when my partner proposed to me, an event that added an unexpected twist to our family dynamic. I was overjoyed. My partner and I had been together for years, living what many would call a marriage-like life already. Though my happiness was immense, I consciously chose to keep everything low-key. My intention was to ensure that the excitement surrounding my engagement did not overshadow the upcoming wedding of Tom and Sarah. I knew how hard they had worked to make their day special, and I had no desire whatsoever to divert attention from it. However, news of our engagement did not sit well with everyone. Tom's fiancée, Sarah, began behaving differently towards me, her demeanor turning noticeably cold. I was baffled, but initially brushed it off as pre-wedding stress. But then Tom sat me down to reveal what was really bothering Sarah. She felt as if my engagement announcement stole her spotlight. According to Tom, Sarah believed that by getting engaged before their wedding, I was somehow trying to upstage her. I was taken aback by this perspective. Our engagement was merely a step in our personal journey and was never intended to detract from their celebrations. The situation took an unexpected turn a week later when Tom and Sarah approached me with a difficult request. They suggested it would be best if I stepped down as a bridesmaid. The rationale was that my engagement was a distraction, and they preferred to have all the focus on Sarah for their big day. Accepting this was tough. I had helped extensively with the planning and was emotionally invested in their happiness. Nonetheless, I wanted to maintain peace within the family, and despite feeling hurt, I agreed to their request, backing away from a role that had once filled me with excitement. Though I understood their desire for undivided attention on their special day, I couldn't shake off the sting of rejection. It was a heavy feeling, being removed from such a coveted role simply due to an engagement that symbolized the love and commitment in my own life. It left me questioning my place within the wedding festivities and the family dynamic, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous period for us all. Then came the news that would change everything. Not long after stepping down from the bridesmaid role, I found myself grappling with a cascade of mixed emotions. It became apparent that my withdrawal hadn't smoothed things over, but instead created a deeper rift. The realization was heart-wrenching. I had stepped aside out of respect for their wishes, yet it seemed like my good intentions were overshadowed by growing tensions beneath the surface. The situation escalated when I received a phone call from Tom. He wanted to discuss the financial aspect of the wedding, bringing up my prior offer to help cover some costs. He seemed to assume that my withdrawal from the bridal party had zero impact on our prior arrangements, completely sidestepping the emotional injury that had accompanied my removal from such a significant role in the wedding. To hear him brushing over my feelings, acting as though nothing had shifted between us, felt like a blow. I calmly explained why I felt uneasy continuing the financial support. Being sidelined from the wedding planning, a process I had been so warmly invited to partake in, changed the entire narrative for me. It wasn't solely about the money, there was a principle at stake. How could they expect me to contribute financially as though nothing had changed? Following my response, it was Tom's reaction that pushed the situation to a head. He accused me of being selfish, reiterating the notion that I was somehow tarnishing the magnificence of their wedding plans. Sarah chimed in, echoing his sentiments, painting my decision not to contribute as a form of retribution rather than a result of my emotional struggle. The accusations were not just shocking, they were deeply disappointing. Their insistence that I was harboring a grudge overlooked the genuine hurt and confusion I was experiencing from being unexpectedly excluded. Instead of acknowledging the pain that their decision had caused, they seemed intent on pinning the blame on me. This clash of expectations and the resentment that followed created a situation far from what any of us had envisioned when the wedding planning first started. It was a moment that changed the course of our relationships, casting an inevitable shadow over what was once a purely joyous occasion. I found myself in an emotional storm, caught between a rock and a hard place. My brother's accusations felt like an arrow straight to the heart, and each word seemed to widen the chasm that had begun to form between us. The adamant stance he took left me reeling, questioning if my decision to step back financially was truly as selfish as they perceived. Conversations with Tom used to be carefree and full of laughter, but now they were filled with tension and sadness. Each call felt like walking on eggshells, each word dissected for hidden meaning or potential offense. The emotional toll was exhausting, and I kept replaying our conversations in my head, searching for where things had gone so awry. Despite this, another side of me could not shake off the deep-seated feeling of betrayal. Here was a wedding I had eagerly anticipated, one where I was meant to stand beside my brother, supporting and celebrating him as I had always done. Yet, somehow, the narrative had shifted, casting me as the antagonist simply for sharing a joyful milestone in my own life. The family discussions were equally draining. Opinions were divided, and it seemed as if everyone took a side, fueling the schism rather than healing it. I felt like I was under a microscope, my every move analyzed and critiqued, leaving me with a profound sense of loneliness. It was a situation I had never anticipated when I offered to help with costs, thinking my involvement would be met with gratitude rather than animosity. But instead of solidarity, I faced a torrent of emotional pushback that left me questioning whether there would be any way to mend the bonds that mattered so deeply to me. Now, my family is divided. Some relatives believe I should continue to support the wedding financially, as I had initially promised. They argue that stepping down as a bridesmaid should not affect my commitment, seeing it as two separate issues. On the other hand, there are those who side with me, understanding the sting of being removed from a significant role and the subsequent emotional turmoil. For them, it seems unreasonable to expect financial support when my involvement was no longer welcomed in the same capacity. Every family gathering becomes a tense standoff, where the air is thick with unspoken judgments and strained small talk. It's as if a rift has opened up, cleaving our once close-knit family into factions. Navigating these interactions has become increasingly exhausting, as I try to maintain peace while also asserting my right to set boundaries after being made to feel like an outsider at my own brother's wedding. The situation leaves me wondering if somehow this wedge can ever be removed.